LigaMX.
Welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, episode 112 straight weeks of the People's Podcast directly into your ears. Here from San Diego on a Monday, we're going to go ahead and talk about San Diego Loyal, undefeated this season, number one in the West, probably. We'll talk about it with our friend Alan Underwood. We're going to go ahead and also talk about CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers, U.S. versus Mexico, Mexico versus U.S. We're actually going to watch it in the den of the American Outlaws, apparently. Whatever that means, here in San Diego. We're going to go into that a little bit. LigaMX, Chivas versus Atlas, Clásico Tapatío, and what went on with that Champions League. We don't want to talk about it, do we?
We don't talk. We don't talk about Bruno.
And that's fine. El Clásico Barcelona destroys 4-0 a Benzema-less team and Benzema-less side. We're also going to touch on San Diego Sockers and San Diego Wave. Hola.
Let's talk about San Diego Loyal real quick.
Well, we got to introduce the boy, the man, the myth, the legend,
Mr. Underwood,
who has been obviously consuming a lot of Calafino tequila, thanks to our good pals over at Calafino. Acafino Calafino. Use the promo code 2balls20 to get 20% off on that fine product and tequila. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and launch it over to Mr. Alan Underwood. What's up, Alan?
Not much. How you guys doing?
I mean,
I think we're a little tired.
We're a little tired. We were in the sun you were in the sun for 8 hours. I was in for like 6 hours. Work.
Why would you do that to yourselves?
So whenever there's no school, we're on break.
Because something has to pay for this equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that's fair. That's fair.
And it's supposed to be even hotter tomorrow and Wednesday.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like 86 degrees on Wednesday.
Get your liquid IVs in now. Those are actually really good.
Did Chiva just say he was going to be hotter tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow's. Oh wow, the flag went down.
Not
tomorrow's
the flag.
supposed to be
Chelsea is. This is
going
just
down.
a representation
of
Chelsea, like
just
what's happening
yep.
now. Just a visual representation that you're saying.
Yeah, man, it's supposed to be like 80 degrees tomorrow.
That's not good. I don't like hearing that. Well, it's fine. I got water balloons in my trunk. So
I have to get some.
I am absolutely taken care of.
Hey kids, you want some water balloons?
Whoa, hey man!
You also work in the same environment. It's great.
That's true. I do have a question about the Calafino. Like I need some like pointers on like which direction to go. Like,
okay, so
I'm not usually like a straight tequila drinker, so like I like the whiskey, like the bourbons.
Perfect.
But I also enjoy like a nice margarita.
I think if you're gonna go mixed drinks, you go Blanco.
Yeah, Blanco.
All right.
Definitely Blanco. If you want to go with something a little bit more refined than that, you can make mixed drinks, but it's not bad. You know, just straight to the gullet is
which is not the way you drink tequila.
Which is, I mean, yeah, you know, you sip tequila, but the reposado is really good for that. Now, if you want to get into, hey, I like my brown liqueurs. If I like my my strongs, my heavies. If you want to go up to the upper shelf, and if you want to go all the way up to getting the extra añejo, honestly, this is weirdly like we got told like the people who buy a Calafino was actually people in the older gentlemen in the 50s. I don't know if that speaks to you, Alan, or not. But
it is really good quality too.
Those people know what's good quality exactly. Yeah. So that's a really good fine tasting.
Like if you're a 21-year-old just partying, you're not gonna buy a Calafino, but you're gonna buy a Jose Cuervo bottle and just get blacked out.
But you know what? Jose Cuervo doesn't have a 20% discount. 2balls20 over
it does
Calafino.
not.
There you go.
Check it out.
And that's just like over ice and sip. Like, are we chilling this, or is it just like
I don't even think you need to put ice. It's just you just put on. I mean, you could have the bottle in the freezer.
Room temperature, yeah.
However you like it. I wouldn't put it over ice. I don't think people. I've never seen just in the shot glass. You sip it from the shot glass.
All right, fair enough.
Trick is put it a little bit under your tongue.
It's spring break, so I might need to get some and
there
just like spend an evening sipping on some tequila, or maybe just mixing it, right? Because it's apparently gonna be hot. So, a nice nice cool margarita might be
You're
right
not
up the alley.
driving, so.
Yeah, I'm not driving.
No.
So salud.
Saluditos.
Salud.
Woo.
Salud.
All right, but gentlemen, we had a game this Saturday.
A good game, a great
really
game.
Good game.
Not as good of a game as the first one because the first one was just outstanding, right? Like the first game had everything
It's
drama,
the
red
first
cards,
day, first
yeah.
game hype. Sacramento was going to be a tougher matchup, like Alan, you said on the pod prior to this game. You said Sacramento was coming off a 3-1 win. Did you expect a little bit more from Sacramento?
And you can, I'm sure it maybe even showed up on the vlog, that I thought there was at least a goal in Sacramento. Like the way they were playing that night, not even like before the game, like that night, they maybe didn't have any like clean looks, but they looked kind of dangerous on the break, especially against a back line that was, wasn't maybe not your number one back line. But they had some moments there. They kept pressuring San Diego, especially that first half. I thought they might have one. And then if you look at some of the statistics of like possession, like I think San Diego was 37% in the second half, which is wild for San Diego, right? We've not used to seeing that type of possession stats from Sacramento. And they were just kind of throwing everything at Loyal. So I was shocked that we kept a clean sheet based on just watching that game. Like Sacramento probably should have had a goal. I think their XG for the game was just over 1 from Nicholas Murray from USL Championship. So maybe deserved a goal. But I mean, San Diego's defense held up. Koke Vegath did a great job. I know he gave a pretty long interview, and I have no idea what he said.
We'll translate that. Not only did the defense hold up, the defense held up without Stoneman, who went out in the 8th minute. Camden Riley came in. He's more of a center defensive mid position, but apparently he's been training at center back. He comes in, like Koke said on the interview, 4 different center backs in 2 games.
Yeah, no, so that's something he did say. We'll get to that at the end. But yeah, here's the moment, like the frustration of Stoneman just walking past our cameras is, he knows it's early in the game. I believe it is that right ankle.
He has to be frustrated.
Yeah, so,
I mean, he had an injury early last season as well, right?
So you can kind of see as he puts that ankle up, it's a little bit wrapped up with tape on that right side. That could have happened when he initially went down, and then they had to stabilize it in order for him to be able to walk. But this did happen last season in a similar way. He goes down, and I think he held that same area of his ankle, and automatically kind of knew he was gonna try to come back, but it just wasn't gonna happen. Stoneman comes out in the 8th minute, or some might say the 9th minute. I don't know.
After the international break, it'd be interesting to see if Stoneman's out a little bit longer, if we have both Kiwis at center backs.
That's Nick Duffy's wet dream.
Right.
That would be his dream right there. Nick, you better hope that happens, I guess. But that would mean Stoneman would be out for a couple of games, and nobody wants that.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know who predicted this clean sheet? I did.
No, I mean, you can't take credit for a clean sheet and not like the game score.
I said 1-0. It was 2-0. I'm not taking credit for I just said clean sheet. Like
I predicted there was going to be 2 goals in the game.
I mean, that's fair. Good job. I'm so proud of you,
Alan.
And I predicted that San Diego would score 2. So I think
put
us all together.
We know what we're talking about. That's what I'm getting. We all know what we're talking about, guys.
Just put 3 predictions together, you get 1 semi-correct one. All right, I'm down with that. But no, it was a match that you can see that there is quality over in Sacramento. I really thought that Douglas Martinez was going to be a little bit more of a factor in the entire game, just because
he had him on lock.
He had him on lock, but he comes in, he scored every season he's played at Torero, over with Monarchs, and then obviously with San Diego. But I thought he was going to be more of a X factor, just knowing the dimensions and how San Diego Loyal plays. How San Diego, you're laughing at the dimension.
Yes,
you laugh at the dimensions. Okay, so
you know why I'm laughing.
Yes,
It's
oh
man.
Casey Stoney, right? Coach for San Diego Wave. We had a couple.
Shout out to Wave, tied their first game.
Shout out. I ask her like, hey, are you factoring in the dimensions of Torero Stadium? Because it's a weirdly shaped pitch, and then they're moving the stairs back, so it's going to be a little bit wider.
Shit you not.
Then you're going to be transitioning over into Snapdragon. Like, are those some things that you're taking into consideration in practice? I thought that was a pretty all right question, considering everybody else over here is asking, the soccer, you're playing against 15-year-old boys. What is it like putting yourself into that mentality? Like, those are the type of questions that we hear. And then, here trying to do some due diligence. This is a soccer question.
You know what she said?
What did she say, Chiva?
No, not really. As long as there's 2 goals in a grass pitch, we should be fine.
Yep.
That's exactly what she said.
I'm okay with that answer, but I'm like, all right. Cool. Well, that again, shame on me for not having a better question. Good answer to a bad question.
To be fair, we've talked to our friend Nate Miller, frequent guest of the podcast now, I guess.
Miller time.
Similar questions, right? Like Vegas to Los Dos, like, or maybe it was Tacoma Los Dos. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like the team played a specific setup and played more aggressively in one game, knowing that the bigger pitch would fit their play style better. Like, it's a great question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really don't. I genuinely think Casey Stoney doesn't like me personally. I don't know why. Maybe I rubbed her the wrong way. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like, hey,
maybe she's just not trying to give away all of the trade secrets this early. Maybe she's just like, I'm gonna hold my cards really close and not give any. Because she might be, but 100%. Maybe that gives away some of the tactical setup early versus when they move to the SD
Snapdragon
SD Stadium.
Way to make this guy feel better, Alan.
Thank you. You know what? Hey. I'll take that. You know what? That's how I like Alan's podcast. Is despite you repeatedly saying and declining his offers to join the podcast, you're like, no.
What?
Guy,
man, Alan, I'm sorry, Alan. I guess I'm the bad guy. I'm always a bad guy. Let's take a look at this first goal, man. This. It was a free kick, a little bit outside the box, and I told Alan, I think Charlie crosses this, and he said, maybe, and then Guido just crosses it.
Sends it in on the run. It's headed home. First
that's a very loyal goal.
It's a super smart goal too. I think Nick Moon had a little bit of agitation in him after being fouled. Mm-hmm. Gets to stay on the pitch. And then I really like this kind of header. I think it really puts the goalkeeper at a challenge. When it's headed straight, it's coming kind of at you. But when it's headed down to the ground, I think it challenges the keeper even more, right? Because the ball is moving in a plane that's not one they normally see. And I think Adams, he sees the ball pop up, and I'm not sure he even knows what to do, right? I think he mentioned in his interview that he doesn't score, so he didn't know how to celebrate, so he just grabbed the closest person next to him.
Which clearly you see here that the lucky...
Is that a thing for goalkeepers, Tony, to is it harder to stop like low headers?
Yes,
just headers in particular.
Yes, because it's a very quick reaction, because if it's headed with incredible speed, and then the way the turf just spins that ball, you have no idea if it's going to be right at you, if it's going to be, or if it's going to spike directly up. A good example of that is actually Didier Drogba's goal in the Champions League final against Bayern Munich to tie that game, where he heads the ball downwards and Neuer is expecting it up here. In order for him to get down here, by the time he makes the movement to get down, the ball's already straight shot up and there's nothing for him to do. So in that case, like, there was nothing for the goalkeeper to do. There was chaos in the middle, and it was fortunate that one of the Adams family members was able to connect with that. I don't know where I heard that. Who said that? Somebody said Adams, like the Adams family strikes again, because Charlie also scored a little bit later.
Yeah, so Charlie's goal was just a pure beauty, man. Like, once I saw the replay, I was like, oh man, Charlie's goal was a good one.
I'm not even sure he did this on purpose, but I think it was really smart. Like, Nick Moon, instead of trying to put that on frame, realizes that he probably doesn't have a shot, and his best option is probably just to pop that back up again.
Yeah.
Like, he beats his guy, but he doesn't have a great angle on goal. And so we didn't get a chance to chat with him, but I would be curious to ask him, like, did you realize, like, my best shot is just to put this back into the mixer and hope for the best? Because it was a really smart to pop it up, and Adams is now free, unmarked, and puts it in.
I think as a player, that is your mentality, right? You're like, I'm not gonna score. I better just throw this in there and see if something happens. And for the most part, majority of the time, the ball does end up going in by a player, by the opposing player. It's always like un desmadre, how would you say? Like,
yeah, it's a just a hodgepodge of happenstance. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it makes sense. But no, what you're saying is true. What I like about this San Diego Loyal team 2 games in is that there's a lot of performances that are not necessarily overlooked, but are really, really good, but they don't come out on the score sheet. Like Kyle Vassell. Kyle Vassell is playing really, really well. He hasn't gotten that goal. Landon also said in that post-game interview that we had is, he's done everything except for actually score. Like, he'll get it. And, he wasn't even disappointed. He wasn't mad. He was like joking about it. Like, it's one of those things where, I'm reading the comment. What is it? Got it. But no, even he himself was like, yeah, he'll get it. And then, you just mentioned it, right? Moon has been everywhere, doing everything, and been playing really outstanding soccer, moving forward with the ball, moving sideways with the ball, making the right plays. Honestly, getting fouled, he's that guy. He's that guy that gets fouled the hardest. He's the guy that gets, sacrificed out there, and he gets back up in that goal.
He's bound to get a couple penalties.
He may or may not had to come out because he was hurt and down. Didn't because of the yellow card.
It's actually the first time I hear that rule.
Yeah, because I would, if I was on the other side, I would have been arguing like, hey, he needs to come out.
I think the idea behind it is if you have fouled a guy harsh enough to get a card, like the guy should be able to stay on the pitch if he can stay on the pitch, right? You shouldn't be at a disadvantage because a guy was reckless, right? Like, that's one of the definitions of yellow is reckless.
Yeah.
And so if you are reckless with another player and they get injured, then you shouldn't be at a disadvantage because some guy was an idiot and, slid tackled. I'm not sure if slide tackle. Nick Moon had the ball. I think the guy's boot might have been a little bit high. I don't think he played the ball, played the guy, and so yellow card. Nick Moon gets to stay on the pitch. I think you're right about Vassell. I think even if you look at the second goal, I think that it all kind of culminates with Vassell really pulling the center backs in, and the ball comes back out to Adams with just acres of space, and so like the ball. So if you're looking here, you gotta have like the 4 across. You can't really see. Yeah, there's the 5th. The ball comes in, and the center backs have to track Vassell. Like, they have to go with him. And this is what Landon's talking about and Nate Miller's been talking about is, who do the center backs take, right? So the center backs have to cover Vassell, and so they both go with him, and then that tactical gravity pulls everybody in, and now there's no one to step to Adams because Adams is kind of that 6th guy in, if you will, right? So you have you're 5 across the front, or essentially 5 across the front, right? You have Nick Moon, you have Guido, you have Vassell, you have Tumi Moshabani, and then you have Metcalf. And then Adams is kind of that guy at the top of the box, right? So if like you take this still, like Adams, there's no one around Charlie Adams. He's at the top of the D, or the half moon, if you will, Tony.
We're arguing that. Which, let's mention it, the other side didn't have it. I've never seen that, where the box didn't have the half moon, media luna, half D. It wasn't painted on there. It was just a box. It was so weird.
Here?
Yes, on the other side.
Oh shit!
It was so wild.
But like right here, like if he's basically got like a straight shot on goal, like if he wants to dribble it in, he can. And there's not really anyone around him to close him down. Like the center backs are at the 6-yard box. And then Charlie Adams, like I didn't realize what he did until I watched this back from like the back camera angle. Yeah. Like hits it with his left boot on the outside of his boot and curls it away tore like away from the keeper because the keeper's all the way to the right.
Yeah.
And so it was such a nice goal. And this is what Landon Donovan was talking about. Like that move from Vassell is never going to show up on a stat sheet. He's not going to get an assist. He's not going to get anything for that. In fact, like he might even be like not rated very high because a striker, a center mid, and a defender are the guys who score. But this is what we're talking about: is if you watch the flow of the game, Vassell is so dangerous that those center backs have to go with him, and it opens up space. And this time, it happens to open up space for Adams. Other times, it's going to open up space for Toomey or for Guido or for Evan Conway if he plays, or these attacking guys. You can't cover everybody if you're double teaming Vassell.
Exactly, and that guy again is fast, powerful, strong, everything. Like he will tire out center backs. He will tire out defenders because sometimes you'll see him out on the wings. He will tire out an entire defense only to make way. I mean, in a way, that's an assist in itself, a goal assist. Like arguably, like he should have gotten an assist. He's not, like I said, it's not going to show up on the stats, but he should have gotten an assist for that Amang goal because he wore down that defense, made space for Amang just to do his thing and just walk in and score last game. It was going to be interesting later in the second half when they both were in there.
I think one thing to know about this goal is Loyal last season got scored so much in the same style where they wouldn't close in the player that was about to take that shot. And we talked about it so many times. Loyal is not pushing up to close in that player that's going to get the shot, whether it's inside the box, outside the box. They don't close him in, don't close him out. And I think Sacramento got a taste of that medicine that they had that Loyal didn't, right? Like Charlie just came in, took the shot. Nobody was able to come up and close him out, maybe block that shot for the goalkeeper. Beautiful, like you said, Alan, outside the boot shot, like just curled it away from the goalkeeper. Like you said, Vassell, amazing to read the play, know where he's standing. Overall, I think San Diego is doing a lot better defensively, obviously getting that clean sheet. But the communication and the props has to go with Koke Vegas, right? Is he a upgrade from Trey Muse? I think so.
Yeah.
At this point, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Like I would like to see how he holds up over a couple games, like over a length of period of time. Right? People are kind of figuring out what his strengths and weaknesses are, but like I would put him up as one of the he's not like man of the match, but if we had like 3 stars of the game like hockey. Like he'd definitely be one of the 3 stars from, the game against Sacramento. Like clean sheet just on its own, but he came up with a really big point blank save later in the match. He came out with this like slide tackle.
Martinez,
kind of a
one-on-one. Just see if I can. Sorry about that. See if I can finagle something here. Sorry about that, Alan.
No, you're fine. It's not every day I get yelled at. By the voice of the San Diego
Jack
Loyal.
Cronin.
Yeah. But I think there was a slide tackle also in the match where he came out kind of on a one-on-one situation. Like the highlights don't do him justice in this match. Because some of the highlights, it's like he's any USO goalkeepers making this, but that volley was a really nice save.
This one was a good one.
Just makes himself big. He's in the right position. Like, and the intangibles as well. Like you lose a center back, and it felt like when he just commands the box, and I think it just gives everyone a sense of like, even if things are a little bit shaky on the back line, like everything's gonna be fine because Koke's got it. And I think that sense of like just calmness really helped the team. Was like Koke has that presence. And I mentioned this too when we were interviewing him. I'm like, he looks taller when he plays.
Yeah.
He looks bigger. And I don't know what that is about him, but he just looks bigger when he plays. And I think it's the confidence, it's the haircut, it's the way he moves, and he's aggressive but not overly aggressive. He plays well with his feet, so it just makes everything kind of calm down. I think a lot of that comes from him.
Oh, go for it. I think he knows that he's way, way, way too good to be staying in this league for a lot longer. So that was a question that somebody asked him, right? How different is the USL compared to where he was playing in second division in Spain, and he wasn't shy about it. He said, "Yeah, it's very like over there. It's a lot harder." Like that's essentially what he said. It's more difficult over there than it is in this level in the USL, and I think we can all agree, right? Second division in Spain is probably a way better level than the USL. It's not a secret, but I think that gives him confidence that he knows he's really good, and when your player knows that he's that good, he plays with confidence. And when you're a goalkeeper, Tony, you can vouch for that. Confidence is key, right?
Yeah, and not just the confidence that you have yourself, like I said, the confidence that the whole team has. Because if you don't have that extra player you can turn around and pass the ball to in the back, because he's either going to fumble it with his feet, or he just you'd rather clear the ball and give a corner than give your goalkeeper a chance to even touch the ball. That's not good, right? Like that's just not a good place to be. Like you were alluding, Alan, like a lot of those saves, those are saves that he has to do. Like those are saves that I have to do at the San Diego Soccer's match. But
does the team get a clean sheet with Austin on goal?
I like my guy Austin, dude.
I like my guy Austin too. That's why I'm asking this question, though. Because Koke made some great saves on corner kicks. He did make some great saves. He came out great.
So that corner kick, right? So that's one that I want to see again, because
like Alan putting it out in a corner. This guy, normally when goalkeepers come out, they punch the ball out. Koke just literally barely with his fingers tapped the ball away from an area where any players were. Like his IQ of the game is really, really amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like if you make a mistake, then that's when you see, oh, this goalkeeper did this, goalkeeper did that. A lot of these saves were just good positioning, right? Like that's where he's supposed to be. But this one too, like it was a great volley off the corner, and then he saves it. He doesn't move. He was already there where the ball was going to get shot. He just parries it to the side because that's the safe thing to do, because that's what the game dictates. If he needed to try to hold on to it, maybe, but why do that? Like just make the safe save. It goes out for a corner. You live to die. You live another day. But there you see, like he's communicating with people he barely shares a language with. Like that's the truth of it. Like
soccer's its own language.
It is its own language 100%, but like it has to be commended. Like let me put you in the Japanese league right now. Like how coherent are you going to be? Yeah. I mean 100%. Like
he's learning too after playing every day with these guys. You pick up some language, you're able to tell
some lingo. I mean,
you're able to tell
Alan's pretty much stuff. Fluent in Spanish. He's gonna be an upcoming guest on Two Balls Ileal, from what the dirt sheets are saying. But let's see. Let me get to
what is there something you guys didn't like about how the team performed or played, or anything in the game that you guys didn't like?
They could have scored more. Right.
I mean, they really could.
Everybody could. Now, you know what? I actually think Landon would agree with me. Like he said
every time they play great, he says, well, we didn't have the best performance. And it's like, dude, come on, you guys had a great game.
Hot sauce is the best. But no, it's I was going to ask. Yeah, go for it, Alan. Sorry.
I can see what he's saying. Like you're a team that wants to dictate tempo and control the ball, and Sacramento has over 60% of possession in the second half. You give up kind of a bunch of shots. There was a couple moments there in the first half and definitely in the second half where Sacramento definitely put San Diego on their heels. And I thought there was moments where they got pinned in and maybe didn't clear their lines super well. I think the reason I was so excited from Saturday night was you can see the things developing, but not like clicking in, right? Yeah. Like a picture that what it looks like and you think it's going to be an amazing picture, but it's just slightly out of focus. Things weren't quite clicking 100% yet. So you can see all of these positive things. And so I'm hopeful that these things will come together, and I think that they will. But I can understand from a coaching staff perspective that when things aren't clicking and coming together, it means something's going wrong, right? We see the positive, the almosts, and I think the coaching staff see this could have been better to actually make it a thing that isn't an almost. And I do think that there are things that that the coaching staff can pull from and say, this could be better, this could be better, this could be better. But for an everyday fan to see a 2-0, clean sheet 2 really good goals, a defense that really held up against the Sacramento team that scored 3 against El Paso. I think fans are going to feel differently than the coaching staff does a lot of the time, right?
Yeah.
And not every win is good and not every loss is bad from a coaching perspective, but from fans, every win's great and every loss is bad. So this is a good game. I think people should be happy. And I think it really shows that the promise of what San Diego can be, right? This is like the dirty word of potential. Now the coaching staff and the team has to really realize that potential. Otherwise, we've seen this before with good teams that are almost good but don't quite pull it off. Padres. That there's potential there. They just don't realize it at the end of the season. So I do think I understand where Landon's coming from. But as a fan perspective, like, you'd have to disagree that was not a fun and entertaining match.
Yeah. I mean, you're hitting it right on the nail, Alan. I mean, the best thing out of this was the win, right? 3 points, clean sheet. Like you said, Tony, they're pretty much on top of the table right now. 2 games in, but any those 3 points could end up making a difference in the longer run, right?
So, like, just like you would give criticism for starting 0-2, you got to give props for starting 2-0. Like it or not, like, this is the reality of things. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see what ends up happening with their first away match here on Wednesday, 2 days from today, or tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this. So that's going to be an interesting test, especially with the depth that they've presented so far as who's actually on the bench. Will they have 2 goalkeepers? I actually have this theory that they, obviously you still have Andrew, ¿cómo se llama este güey? Andrew Carlton, who hasn't made a. Yes.
You think he makes an appearance on Wednesday?
Voldemort. On the bench, at least, and start easing him in, and maybe get some minutes, because, I mean, that's the thing. He's been with the team for 6 weeks, right? Now, talking from a purely soccer perspective, like, he's been with the team for 6 weeks. Yeah, no, not even that. Like, I give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, this kid went through whatever he did for these last 2 weeks. Okay. Don't bring him onto the public eye. Yeah, he might be going through stuff. I mean, you never know, right? He was part of a limelight.
It can be easy for a kid, 21 years old, for a bunch of people to just start talking shit.
It can, but the best way, I think, to roll him out, and I think that's going to be the thing that they do, is let's start him on away matches, not a Torero. He's going to be starting over here. Then he's going to score a goal.
Then he hits the game winner.
2, and now he's going to come back, and now we're going to be like, it's more palatable. He's on the bench here at home. Okay, maybe. But again, it's going to be interesting because that's a legitimate question. Because, again, you have Boxall, international duty. Stoneman goes down, we were saying. There is depth. You have Evan Conway, who hasn't had.
Is there a lot of depth, though? I don't think there's that much depth like last season.
But the quality is better in that depth, maybe?
I mean, I think they have depth. It's just, like, not available. Like, right, you have Jack Blake, you have Boxall, you have Carlton, you have these guys that are on the roster that we haven't really seen, right? We just saw Evan Conway come in on the bench and get a couple minutes, and so I think there is depth there. It's just, it's on paper, it's not in the team yet.
Carl asked why we have 2 goalkeepers on the bench. I think it's just because that spot's Blake's pretty much, at least right now, but he's not match fit yet. So who else do you put on there?
Yeah, I mean, that's who you have to have on. Maybe call up another, San Diego loyal select player.
That's what I'm saying. There's no need for 2 goalkeepers on there.
True. I mean, yeah, I agree 100%. Charlie's goal, obviously, going up against a couple of other good goals for goal of the week. Who else should be involved in that? Another person that deserves props. Sorry. Alejandro Guido. He's played. He's been on the field.
All 90 minutes. Oh, no. Did he come off as a sub on Saturday?
I don't believe so. We can check.
Let me look that up real quick.
It's 2 balls and a mic. Digital network.
No, I think he played. Yeah, no, he played the full 90, man.
So
again,
oh yes, he did, because Colin Martin came out, surprisingly.
Yeah, because right after that yellow card.
And now thinking about it, probably to save him for Wednesday a little bit.
And then Mo Shabani and Moon were the double swap in the 84th minute.
Yeah, because he dropped Guido as a center mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Among for Martin was a very interesting sub. It took a little while to figure out what they were doing, because that's not, if you're like Colin Martin's coming out, you wouldn't, like, the first person you think of is not Thomas Among.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're winning by 2.
Yeah, so essentially drops Guido, drops Charlie a little bit more. Guido takes that spot from Charlie, and then Among, they're essentially playing with 2 on top. So I think it worked out, right? They ended up winning the game. Yeah. Nothing really to complain about this first 2 games of the season.
Yeah.
It's way better than 0-4 start.
You want to hear from Coque Vega himself?
I'm down to hear from Coque Vega himself. Who's translating, you or me?
We'll figure it out. Nose goes, Sally Allen.
Bueno, Coque, obviamente no desanotaron gol, que es bueno para los porteros, pero...
Okay, Coque, obviously you guys got a clean sheet, which is great for goalkeepers.
¿Cómo cambia el sistema cuando uno de los defensas centrales se lastima muy temprano en el partido y entra?
How does the system change or the game plan change when one of the key center backs comes off due to injury early in the game?
¿Cambia algo o cómo está esa comunicación?
Does it change at all, or how does that affect the communication on the field?
No, bueno, al final el plan de juego que teníamos sigue siendo el mismo.
Well, at the end of the day, the game plan ends up being the same that we have from the beginning.
Al final tenemos, no sé si son 20, 22, ¿cuántos jugadores exactamente en la plantilla?
I mean, we have 20, 22 other players that are part of the base team.
Para estas cosas, o sea, la
exactly for these type of reasons.
identidad sigue siendo la misma y los que están fuera ya se ha demostrado hoy con Cam, la semana pasada con Thomas.
And the people who are outside on the bench, they already know what to do. Last week with case of Thomas, this time with Cam. I guess that's what they call Camden Riley, Cam.
Que los que salen del banquillo aportan mucho y para eso están, no cambia absolutamente nada.
Everybody who comes off the bench has a role and they have a job and they know what to do at that point, and that the game plan doesn't change anything.
Simplemente pues eso, unos minutos más a disfrutar.
So just a couple more minutes and just to enjoy the game. Like that part of him, just like, I'm just here to enjoy the game. Like this is part of a game. Like whatever happens, we're gonna roll with the punches, and we're here and we know what to do.
I was gonna ask guys also an extra question, but some people were hogging Coque the whole Spanish interview. Very rude, interrupting other media people asking questions. But I was going to ask, has the team maybe prepared him for the match against Phoenix, right? That's obviously a rivalry game. It's a game that a lot of people circle in their calendars, like, when do we play Phoenix? We play Phoenix this day. People are making the trip over there. I was going to ask him if people have explained to him what this game means to the team and how they were preparing for that, but I didn't get to ask that question. Sorry, guys. Would have been a great question.
Interesting tidbit here by the great Colombiano, Andy Chapi, Andres, saying AC is not yet ready to play. His transfer is not complete, not related to anything else other than paperwork. So that can be it. Guido was involved wearing.
They need to fix that paperwork ASAP, man, because
Guido was involved in the 2 goals, wearing that number 10 for that good reason. Very true, very true. Again, another performance that you don't necessarily see on the score sheet, but like Vassell, it's incredibly important. His presence, what he's been doing.
For Vassell, at what point, if he doesn't score, at what point do you say, okay, you need to score goals? How many games in?
I mean, I think as long as he continues to play like he's playing right now, I'm not sure that is ever the case, right? If he's pulling defenders and he's pulling those double teams and you're winning, you're scoring 2-3 goals a game. Do you need Kyle Vassell to score a 4th?
But what about when he's not scoring and he's still pulling those defenders, but the players cannot finish, and then you lose those games?
I think go for it.
I'm sorry, Tony. I think that's when you start to ask questions. But if the team's winning and are scoring multiple goals a game, and he's pulling defenders out of position to allow his teammates to be successful, I think you continue to ride that. Maybe you have Thomas Among start and Vassell come in when the defenders are tired and beat up, and maybe he gets a goal and goes on a run. But I think if the team's winning, I think that's the most important thing, right? Because it's one ball and you can only score 1 goal at a time. And if other people are getting that love because he's making some stuff happen against the two center backs, and people can score off of that, I think you're happy, and I think he's happy too.
I just want to see him score.
I mean, as a Chelsea supporter, this doesn't surprise me. I think I was literally thinking about that, like, why am I not bothered? It's like, yeah, I'm used to seeing strikers not score and midfielders, reap the benefits of stuff like that, and
that's very true,
it's part of it too. And I think, like I said,
I guess
Landon,
if they can win the Champions League, then
yeah, I mean, we pretty much haven't had a striker since Didier Drogba. But in any case, it was a good game, good performance overall. I think it's looking very positive. I think even
so far,
USL Tactics
so far,
power ranking, was it? Agree that San Diego Loyal is up top on that. So, great things happening.
Let's see how they do on Wednesday. Match predictions for Wednesday.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough road week, right? You got Wednesday in Tulsa, Saturday back in Chandler. This is going to be like winning twice at home is great. That's when you're supposed to win. Mm-hmm. This is when teams really prove their mettle in tough places to play. Tulsa currently 1 win, 1 draw, one loss. They lost to Charleston week 1 on the road, and then they beat Birmingham Legion 3-1 at home. Mm-hmm. They're a playoff team from last year, so traveling to Tulsa is not going to be a walkover. Joaquin Rivas is playing really well. Joaquin Phoenix, I'm sure, is playing well, but not for Tulsa.
Oh man, the Joker was great. So yeah, he is playing very well.
Lebo Moloto is another name people should know. Brian Brown, the Jamaican striker, plays for them as well. But Joaquin Rivas, I think, is kind of the early standout for them. They also have Rodrigo da Costa as another name that might show up, kind of their number 10-ish. Let me look up how they played last match, how they had this set up. So it's going to be a tough match. I think this is going to be another big test for them early. Yeah, Da Costa is kind of their 10. Joaquin Rivas plays off the right wing. They played in that kind of 4-2-3-1 against Legion. So it's going to be a tough match, I think, for them to go on the road against this Tulsa team. But again, this is where you show, hey, like, we're a legit playoff contender. I think with this road trip, I think 6 points is like amazing. 4 points is really good. 2 points is fine. I think if you drop both games, I think that's a problem. But I think you want to get something from Tulsa. I think they can get a win in Tulsa, but it's going to be a tough match. I'll go a standard 2-1 win.
Oh, I like that. We did get some sources directly from the club, were discontent with a little bit of the scheduling and how it is a little unfair to travel, east and then have to come back west and then play in midweek, have midweek action. Sure. It's a valid claim in that sense, but I have to agree. Like, if we get 6 points would be fantastic, but I don't know if that's completely viable. Maybe for this one, yes, but that Phoenix one is going to be definitely tough.
I mean, Phoenix, who just lost to Las Vegas Lights.
Which is true, right? And so, I don't know where everybody's at, with looking at, does that mean the El Paso Locomotive is going to be a bloodbath at Torero because of what happened with Sacramento? You just kind of never know. But for this next upcoming game, I mean, the way Loyal's been playing, I think Loyal can get themselves a victory. I'm hesitant just because I'm not too familiar with Tulsa, but I'll go with you. You are the USL expert, Alan. I'm going to tag along with the 2-1 win.
I'm going to go with a pretty high-scoring game. I'm going with a 3-2 Loyal win.
Damn.
I think Austin gets a start this game.
Austin. Oh, Austin gets a start. Interesting.
And gets scored on twice, but they win 3-2.
All right.
Yeah, it's hard to predict this early, kind of what teams like to play. Like, Tulsa dominated possession against Charleston and lost, and then was kind of split 50-50 with Legion and won, right? 8 shots versus 21 from Legion. So it's like, I think you can get something out of Tulsa, but traveling east is going to be a little difficult, and they are a good team. I think following that up with Phoenix on the road is also quite unfortunate. And, Phoenix on the road last year was different than Phoenix at home, right? And I think that's something to consider. Like, yes, they are in Vegas. They are kind of figuring out the new normal, right? They're kind of, I want to say they're transitioning, but it's not transitioning, it's not rebuilding, but they lose Solomon Asante. They're figuring in some new pieces, but they still have Greg Hurst, Aiden Quinn, Arturo Rodriguez, Marcus Epps. Like, they still have quite a few people. Their defense maybe doesn't look as strong in Phoenix, and that's why they've given up 3 goals already. But playing Phoenix at home is different than playing Phoenix on the road. So I would take that loss to Vegas on the road early season with a grain of salt. They're going to be pretty pissed off, and they're going to be waiting for us because they don't play midweek. They're gearing up for San Diego to come to town. We have that midweek match.
But again, what would that say? Say like you've just completely flipped the script, right? Like, that's going to be interesting for Miller time too. I'm hoping to get assistant coach Nate Miller on after this field trip, just so he can get a sense, right? Because it's that famous 0-4 start. Like, I want to see after 4 games, even if it's a 2-2, a 3-1 start, a 4-0 start, like what fundamental difference does that make for his coaching moving forward, right? Like I said, like Alan said, actually, like, things seem to be coming together, and they're just gonna have to get polished. And I think at this point they are in mid-season form for last year's San Diego Loyal. Like, they look primed to start on that pathway, and hopefully that does trend that way. But hey, you never know with USL. USL's weird. It's just so weird.
This past 2 years have been weird.
Red cards everywhere. What's going on,
Right?
Alan? What's going
Red
on?
cards in LigaMX too, man. Everywhere.
I mean, most of the red cards seem legit. Like, there was a couple of them that were questionable, and one of them did get overturned. And some of them are just like, it looks, and there's no VAR, right? So the official gets one look at it, and if it looks bad, they're gonna card, because they kind of have to, right? Like, imagine if there's a really bad tackle and they don't. And I've seen this in the history of USL, is like, things that look bad tend to get the calls, because, again, how bad would it look on a replay if a dude gets taken out and there's nothing? You're gonna be like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you can't do that. It's just wild. I think things will calm down. I think maybe there's some point of emphasis that the league or the pro refs are getting, as far as, dangerous tackles and not letting things go as much. But I think most of the red cards have been pretty legit, and some of them have been double yellows, and that's just guys, not making smart plays, who know they're on a yellow. They play dangerously, or you give a tactical foul away early, and now you forget you're on a yellow later. I think most of them have been legit, but yeah, it's been wild. There was a former coach in a club from Orange County that said, it's really kind of that 10-game mark is where you really see where teams kind of settle into, right? You might see RGV went on a really hot run, and then they almost didn't make the playoffs. So early success does not mean success for the season, and early failure does not mean failure for the season, right? We saw that last year, making the playoffs after losing the first 4. So it's one of those wake me up after 10 games kind of deal, and let's see where everyone is and how people are playing. And that right now it's kind of a crapshoot, with teams that are usually good aren't, and teams that are usually bad are also not. Like, Loudoun is all of a sudden really good, but I think it's hard to predict early season because the turnover is so high.
Yeah, and that's why we have you as the expert. You really are the USL expert. Like literally, like, I'm so glad that we have you to kind of lean on for these things. Because again, we're talking out of our ass. Like, we see what we see for as far as, until we learn exactly who these people are, what the play style is of USL. Like, even San Diego Loyal, right? Like, that's how we got to know some of these people. It's just their style of play and how they, do what they do on the field, and then, worry about that, everything else later. But no, it's. I hope you're enjoying it, Alan.
I love me some USL. I think it's a very fun league to pay attention to, and it's fun to talk USL soccer with people. What are your guys' predictions for Phoenix match? Because we won't get to talk before that Phoenix match.
I want to see how they do against Tulsa, honestly, and then I'll base.
Gotta predict.
I'm gonna end up changing my prediction.
Nope, you gotta predict now.
On Twitter, I'll probably change it, but right now, I say a 2-2 draw.
That's very generous. I think San Diego Loyal gets their first loss, which implies that they win against Tulsa. But I think they get their first loss.
I have a feeling San Diego Loyal goes on a undefeated run for the first 10 games.
You're a fucking jinx, and just because of that, you just jinxed San Diego Loyal. No. You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. San Diego Loyal disbanded as a club here in 2012.
2012. Okay.
See what you're doing to me? Just being next to you.
I'm not doing anything. You're just being next to you. Wow.
What is 2012, Alan? You did the math. I saw that.
I'm just thinking that's pretty impressive that the team is around in 2012 to be disbanded. So I'll take it.
Yeah, no, it's wild.
The fact that 2012, that's that's like 20,000 years from now, right? Something like that. 2012.
And guess what? Two Balls and a Mic and Alan are going to be the only three interviewing Landon Donovan the fifth.
The fifth.
We got Ricardo Virgen, who says 1-1 draw. Now they ain't winning until June. God damn it, Chiva. Actually, before we go, we just got approval, and then before we go, I'll let you go, Alan, because you're amazing. You're awesome. 619 day. We just got approval, and we'll put it on here from the powers that be to actually have a live show, a show at the stadium, at Torero Stadium pregame behind the 109 where the Dunkin' Donuts
won't be live.
It won't be live streamed. There's no point.
Everyone's there at the stadium.
Everybody's there. So we will have a show. So hopefully you guys can stop by, join us. We're gonna have some
maybe guests.
We might have guests. We might have raffles.
Local members, Chavo members.
We will be giving away a San Diego Loyal jersey. I'll just tell you guys that right now. At least one San Diego Loyal jersey will be won by somebody in attendance of the millions and millions of people in attendance over at Torero Stadium.
Oh, we just be able to see if we can get the club to say, "Oh, a random seat number number this brought to you by."
You know what I actually want to do is you know how they're in halftime they're "Happy birthday, Kyle," and welcome to the San Diego Surf Academy under 20s. Where are my UFCW 520 troop of plumbers? Here we are. I don't know if you guys heard that during halftime where they give shout outs.
Yes.
Chiva, happy birthday, buddy. And it's not
the club
your
will
birthday.
never go for that because we're not.
Two balls and a mic. Where are you?
Our chances of that are very slim. We're not the official team's podcast.
I want to know how much it would cost for them to have to do that. How much is it?
Wow, no, I don't want to find out.
I mean, if we can pool together some GoFundMe, right?
Would you guys donate if the team tells us, this certain amount of money to
for the shithousery of it? For the shithousery of it, two balls.
Probably $202,012.
Well, according to Tony's math, that's
we're almost there.
That's a great deal.
100%. Before we let you go, Alan, obviously you are a U.S. citizen, a person that probably did the Pledge of Allegiance growing up for this country. What do you think is going to happen with the World Cup qualifiers?
Well, as an Eagle Scout, I think I have to choose the United States, right? I think they would revoke that from me.
Yeah, no, that's like a Medal of Honor for children.
I mean, I don't know. Between now and Thursday, there might be news that every U.S. player in the pool is unavailable due to injury, which seems to be the direction that things are going, right? No Des, no McKinney, no Aronson, no partridge in a pear tree even at this point. And the thing is, I don't think the U.S. has never won in Mexico City.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting a lot, right? I would like the USA to take it to Mexico and get a point there. But really it's that Panama game that is the really important one. It's this cycle's Trinidad and Tobago. Just get a result against Panama and you're pretty much set. I'm gonna go in pessimistic. Like U.S. is gonna lose to Mexico. That way, if anything else happens, it's like a pleasant surprise. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's not like Mexico's been like draping themselves in glory as of late either, right? But this is kind of their payback of you beat us 3 times in games that matter in the United States. Now you're on in our house, and we're going to wipe the table with you. So for Phoenix, I agree with Shiva. I think a 2-2 draw is gonna sit pretty nice. But I think this one is gonna be like it's gonna be 3-0 Mexico. I think they're gonna 2-0 for a minute, and then they're just gonna go for that third one right at the very end, just to kind of like play with US a little bit,
just toy with them.
And then whoever scores is gonna take off their kit, and it's gonna be where's Weston with a question mark.
Ooh.
I think, or whatever that question would be in Spanish. I'm still working on
Donde
that one.
está Weston?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Donde está Weston?
That's actually really good. That was actually really fucking good.
And yeah, I think Mexico has a point to prove on Thursday, and I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna enjoy it with some soccer friends, and I don't really care who wins this one, to be honest, because I don't think US is gonna get anything out of it.
Yeah. I hear we have to get there pretty early to get a table.
Good thing I'm on spring break.
We will get a fucking table wherever the fuck we want. All right, homie.
Oh,
all right. We're gonna watch. We want to watch our vatos. Get down crazy, fool. That's what people.
Yeah, fool.
That's
what's up, ese?
That's what people think.
Are you Johnny Five? Is that a reference you get?
What?
If I make a Johnny Five reference, is that a reference people
that is
get
reference.
still? Am I that old?
I get it, but again, I'm like 12 years older than Chiva. But all right, we'll go ahead and with that wonderful prediction, I think we'll go ahead and say thank you, Alan, for joining us again here at Two Balls Under Wood. We'll go ahead and play you out with one of these. If it works.
I could say that I'm rooting for Mexico because Mexico is my other team.
You could, and that would be controversial. And I like that. It's a really beautiful anthem. Thank you, Alan. All right. Thank you,
Gentlemen,
Alan. Appreciate it.
Good night. We'll see you when Thursday.
Love you. Thursday.
Catch you later, man.
All right.
Oh, man. All right. I really hope Alan is right and we get a 3-0 win over the U.S. at home. But yeah, so let's look at the call-up list for Mexico, right? Before we get into this. So there were some changes to this call-up list that they first announced on the 17th. Jonathan Orozco got injured in the Cholos match this past weekend, so he's out, and they called Acevedo up.
Oh.
So Acevedo's up there. Rodolfo Pizarro is also out due to an injury in the Monterrey in the Clásico Regio, and they added Roberto Alvarado, new player from Chivas this season. So those are the changes. But on goal, Tony, we have 4 goalkeepers. Normally they call 3, but they have 4. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be Rodolfo Cota, Guillermo Ochoa, Acevedo, as we said, the youngster that's having a great season for great couple of years with Santos in the LigaMX, and Alfredo Talavera, all seasoned veterans, right? Played with Mexico a couple matches already. Out of those 4 goalkeepers, who would you like to see in the start? I would love to see Acevedo, but he's not gonna get the start.
Well, I mean, I want to see Guillermo Ochoa.
San Memo, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's in his hometown.
Cota's really having one of the best.
Stadium.
He's arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the league.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him live in his first game. An amazing goalkeeper. Yeah. He's pretty much in form. He looks like a prime goalkeeper right now. But I think just because of Ochoa and what he becomes once he dons that Mexico uniform, especially in Azteca, that's what you have to go with. No question. Again, it'd be nice to see somebody like Cota, Talavera, or otro güey también. But yeah, so take us through the rest. Who do you think is going to be the starting? Who's going to play?
So who I would like to see, or who I think?
Who's going to start?
Okay, I think he's going to start Ochoa on goal.
Just so the people, because we're going to go over to O'Brien's.
Okay.
We're going to go into your territory, and we're going to go ahead and watch as the U.S. just goes back to what it always knows it has been. Number 2 in CONCACAF. You guys have gone some trophies here and there. We're actually going to talk to Jimmy Conrad on Wednesday. And we'll tell him to his face. We're going to tell him to his face, like, it's over, my guy. Like, you guys are coming back down to earth.
Oh, Mexico better back us up in the shit talking.
That flag,
but I'm doubling down with you. Yeah.
Like, we're going to destroy in El Azteca. If it doesn't, it's going to be a national tragedy. ×2. Again.
That would be 4 straight losses against the U.S.
I thought you were going to say 4 straight national tragedies in a Mexican stadium.
Oh, no. That would be 4 straight losses against the U.S.
That would be 4 straight losses, and that is unacceptable.
So, what the starting lineup's going to look like, I think Ochoa starts. I think as a right back, he puts in Sanchez from America, who's a very pacey right back. I think the starting center backs, he's going to go with Nestor Araujo and Hector Moreno. I don't think he goes with Johan Vasquez, even though that should be the clear choice instead of Moreno, but he's going to go with the experience. I think he's going to go back to starting Gallardo on the left side. Something about Tata Martino just trusts Gallardo, even though he hasn't been playing that great. He's going to start him over Arteaga. If he plays Aguirre or Arteaga on the left back position, I wouldn't mind. I'd be surprised. That would be the best move to go. I think on the center he's going to play Edson Alvarez. He's going to start HH. And I think along with them, he'll probably start either Charlie Rodriguez or Luis Romo. So that should be the center mids. Edson Alvarez, who's been having a phenomenal season for Ajax.
Yeah.
I think they made a stat for him that he was probably one of the best defensive mids in the round of 16 for the Champions League, which is impressive. Rumors alluding that he should be on the move for a bigger club. I think he should stay in Ajax for another season, settle himself in Europe, and then maybe make a move later. HH played the whole 90 minutes on that win for Atletico over Man United, so he's been getting minutes for Atletico Madrid. There's no way Tata does not start him. Charlie Rodriguez has been one of the best midfielders in LigaMX so far this season. He's been scoring goals. He's been getting assists for Cruz Azul. You have to see he's a must start. Compared to Romo, who has not been doing anything for Monterrey. Monterrey has been struggling lately. Up on top, on the top 3, you're going to start Tecatito, Raúl Jiménez, and Chucky Lozano. There's no other way. I would love to see Vega getting a start.
Started. No,
but he's
going to come back up. He's going to come back up in as
Vega's
a
super sub.
Probably. Yeah, no, exactly.
You have Lainez to be a super sub. Corona has been playing pretty good for Sevilla. He's been hyped up after that great move over to La Liga. You're going to start Jimenez. You finally don't have Funes Mori on the bench. He ended up cutting him. He called Santi Jimenez from Cruz Azul, who's been playing decent, and he's a great striker. You have Henry Martin on the bench. I don't think he'll see any minutes against the U.S. I think on top you see Corona, Jimenez, and Chucky Lozano, which is kind of what the dream top 3 that we've been asking for, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the thing. Again, hopefully they back us up in what we're trying to do and what we're trying to say, because if they don't, it's going to be, just absolute wild. How's it going, Nick?
Nick, if you missed the loyal talk, I know you're waiting for the Kiwis to be starting center backs. Well, yeah, you get to see that earlier.
So when are we talking about New Zealand's World Cup qualifiers?
Ooh, remember? 2014, Nick, you remember? You remember, Nick?
There's still a chance that we might have to remind him because Mexico doesn't make it directly to the World Cup. Like, that's still in play. That's still in play. This is the last round of World Cup qualifying going around, and so it's very important that we get the job done.
So let's look at possibilities, right? Let's look at possibilities. Like, best possible scenario for Mexico, beating the U.S., whatever score, right? You go up on points by 3 points, secure second place so far, depending on what Canada does. It doesn't even matter what Canada does because they're up 4 points. So you beat the U.S., you're up 3 points from them. The U.S., if they lose to Mexico this on Thursday, they better hope and pray Panama does not beat Honduras. Like, they better hope Panama does not beat Honduras, dude, because Panama would just cut 1 point behind them in 4th place, right?
Yeah.
After that, for the Sunday games, U.S. plays Panama, and that's going to be the game that Alan was mentioning earlier. That's the important game for them. Because if you lose to the U.S. and you tie to Panama or lose to Panama, you're down in 4th place now.
And then we have to deal with Nick and his Kiwis. Like, it's fine.
No. The U.S. would be down in 4th.
Oh, that's right.
This is best possible scenario for Mexico. Mexico plays Honduras on Sunday, and that should be a win. Mexico has an easier last 3 games than the U.S. does. Because the U.S. has to face Panama and then Costa Rica. Mexico has to face Honduras and then El Salvador.
What if we play and have to play qualifiers for the World Cup against New Zealand to get to the World Cup again? Boxel
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nick, if that happens, you guys missed another World Cup.
But like, we get press passes.
Ooh.
Because we know Nico Boxel. And we know somebody who knows Nico Boxel.
We're gonna fly to the F.
I'm down. I'm fucking flying.
I can't fly to New Zealand. I don't have a passport.
But in any case, that's gonna be. Oh, did you hear they announced the call-ups for the national team for the U.S.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're actually they're I think they're center back or something. Paired up with a fantastic goalkeeper.
I mean, you can't forget the LeBron James of soccer.
That jersey is just hanging.
The coach is great. Yeah, I mean, who else is great over there? The midfielder, that midfielder, yeah. Those guys over there.
It's gonna suck if they beat us. It's a bunch of destroying Mexico in the El Aztecaso. That's gonna be calamity. Like that cannot happen. But we're gonna brave the storm. We will not bring. We don't do that. Even though you're dressed as a piss bag, we will not throw piss bags. We will not take piss bags. It's fine. Hopefully, we enjoy now that we know so many U.S. fans. Like, a ver, cabrones, let's go. Like, I want to see you. I want to see, like,
this is no friendly, loyal. We're all a family here.
No,
fuck all that shit. Sorry, guys. This is Mexico against the U.S. You guys are rooting for the U.S. We are rivals for those 90 minutes. We are enemies. We're rivals.
Maybe 90,
I am gonna do all the best shit talking
90,
I can.
96 minute.
86 minute.
96 minute.
Yeah,
you said 90 minutes. You never know.
No, 91 minutes.
Referees, 100th minute. 9 minutes overtime. Whatever.
All I'm telling you guys, the U.S. is going down. There's no way Mexico loses this game in Azteca. Jimenez is gonna score. Alexis Vega is gonna score coming off the bench. Chivista. Oh my God, I'm gonna wear I can't wear my Chivas jersey because red and white stripes. It'll look like the U.S.
Yuck.
Yeah, yucca. Wakala.
That's going to be fun. Check us out. Check out Jimmy Conrad. He's going to be with us again.
I like that, Nick. New Zealand versus USA in the playoffs. I like that, Nick.
Let's go New Zealand.
And New Zealand advances and the US.
Let's go New Zealand.
Goes back-to-back.
Hat trick from Nico Boxel. Wild. Never before seen. Chris Wood actually became the New Zealand all-time scorer for soccer. I think it's Chris Wood. Pretty sure it's Chris Wood.
Nick, confirm?
Yeah, no. Yeah. So congratulations, Mr. Wood.
I'll still buy you a beer. Bet. Oh, I like that song. I don't like that song anymore.
You don't like that song anymore.
Wait, what about LigaMX? LigaMX happened, boy.
Okay.
Lots of good games.
Okay.
Did you catch any of those games, boy?
I mean, I think we should balance it, cleanse the palate a little bit and then bounce back to LigaMX.
Oh, I'm down to do that.
Talked about a lot of our boys who are now representing Mexico.
Okay. Let's hit the champion. Let's get the rip the Band-Aid away from me. Because they're very disappointing for me.
Wouldn't you have rather gone to the Europa League?
What?
Wouldn't you have rather been in the Europa League? I mean, honestly. Think about it. I think we talked about this actually. Like, wouldn't you rather go down and be in the Europa League, possibly winning that, than to get knocked out?
No, because if we get knocked out, it's even more embarrassing. At least this was expected.
It was expected for you guys to get knocked out?
Not for me, but for everyone else. I was very hopeful that we would advance to the quarterfinals and beat Real Madrid, but Real Madrid finally got the best out of Ronaldo, I guess.
That's the job of another English team to take down Madrid. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. First, you had Chelsea and Los Blues. Was that Wednesday? No, that was Wednesday. So let's go back to Tuesdays. I'm sorry. Let's rip off that Band-Aid. Obviously,
Man United, Atletico.
Manchester United had themselves a game.
Like the goal they scored in the first half. I believe it was in the first half, and it's just Maguire. Just when you're a center back and you're the leader of that center back line, right? You have to stick with your line. Maguire pushes up way too much in unnecessary times, and I don't know if it's because he doesn't really have a great center defensive mid to help him out and back him up.
Yeah.
But he pushes up way too much, unbalancing the line, and then Dalot has to come and step in. You know the rule, right? If a center back pushes up everyone kind of slides into the position, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the right mid who was Elanga should have dropped. So you see here, Maguire steps up. If this is the goal, this is not the goal, but if you can find the goal real quick, because I'm very upset. The hair is the hair, man. Like
they had tried.
I think he might be on his way out. They scored and it was an offsides, by the way. They got a goal and it was offsides, apparently. I don't know how they got the offsides, but they got an offside. So it would have been 2-0. But he called the offsides. That happened.
But again, that's not a good look. Like they
didn't produce much, dude.
They were on the verge of conceding either way. Like that was about to happen.
Yeah, so go back to that goal real quick. So I can kind of... Right there. Look where Maguire's at. Where is Maguire? You see him up there? You see him? He's literally just right in front of the ref. Like, what is he doing up there? So Dalot has to be more of a center back at that point. And Elanga got fouled, and they didn't call that foul. It wasn't a foul, but he got fouled. He dropped, so he didn't manage to drop back to that guy. Here's the pass. Dalot doesn't know there's a guy behind him. Goes in, headers it. Lower header, like we were talking about.
Just
the
like that
lower
same
header.
technique. Yeah, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah. So that was the goal. Other than that, Man United didn't produce. They had 5 shots on target. Very disappointing result for Manchester United. Expected for a lot of people that are not Man United fans, like yourself. I'm pretty sure you said Atletico was going to advance.
Yeah. I mean, to think that Manchester United thought that they had a chance in this tournament. I mean, stranger things have happened, right? Like Villarreal somehow moved past Juventus. Like that was wild.
If somebody called that, right?
I mean, yeah, you can't call that Manchester United is,
I'm very biased on that one. I'm very biased. Shambles? I'm sorry. I know my team sucks, but I'm biased. I'm always gonna say we're gonna win, just like for Mexico. Mexico fucking sucks right now too, Tony. And we're over here predicting that we're going to destroy the U.S. Might as well wear clown mask during Champions League talk for myself. We also thought Ajax was going to win.
You can.
We thought Ajax was going to win. What the heck was that, man?
What do we know about anything?
Benfica just surprised the shit out of everyone, beating Ajax 1-0, advancing to the quarterfinals along with Atletico. And then you had your boys in blue.
So Chelsea are managing to move past the champions of France, unlike both French teams.
It's like you guys, this sanction just motivated the whole team.
Right? Chelsea has not lost. Chelsea has not lost since the sanctions came down. They seem inspired.
It's going to take a toll on your team eventually.
It's going to take a toll on his team. The flag's already coming down somehow. Like it's not a good sign. Like every time a flag falls, like I don't know, like player gets injured or something. But in any case, yeah, they won 2-1. Good performance there. Aggregate 4-1. But finally, we move on to now. These are our brackets. These are our version of brackets. We have the Champions League brackets. In the quarterfinals, you have the Elite 8, essentially. 8 teams left, none of which are named Manchester United, actually.
No, so Atletico, the destroyer of Manchester, is playing Man City on my birthday.
Oh. So April 5th, also your birthday, Benfica, Liverpool. So that's in a couple of weeks.
Liverpool should handle that one, right?
Yeah, Liverpool should handle that one. Again, we'll talk about it as it gets a little closer. Manchester City, Atletico, as you mentioned, should be a good game. Villarreal, Bayern Munich. I mean, poor Villarreal, but that's what we thought maybe against Juventus. Juventus isn't the same, but Bayern Munich has Lewandowski and all of their firepower. They're going to have a fresh Alphonso Davies, who's not playing in the Canada World Cup qualifying matches. And then you have Chelsea at Real Madrid. It's happened before. It happened last year on the road. On the road to the last campaign where Chelsea was able to win a Champions League. Here, on their second year in a row, consecutive year to beat
Real Madrid. It all kind of depends here if Benzema plays, because apparently Madrid without Benzema is a complete shit show.
Okay. I think it's a good point then to go from there to there.
Yeah.
So Benzema, the boys. We actually were talking with the boys, Darren Smith and Ricardo Campos, pre-match about the El Clásico. And actually Ricardo Campos,
he got that right.
He got that right. Without Benzema, this team is
they look so
completely
I need to know exactly what Carlos Ancelotti was thinking, right? You play a formation with your center mids essentially being a false nine and being the high press off when you're playing defense. So Modric was essentially the highest player up there pressuring. Modric, out of all people, you don't have Vini running, you don't have Rodrigo chasing ball, you have Modric making the pressure up there. 609 Soccer is going to enjoy this conversation right now because his team just completely dominated Real Madrid, right? Let me pull up some stats real quick.
And now this is Xavi ball now. Like this is a new
La Chavineta, papa. Chavineta.
This is some new blood into Barcelona, new old blood. I think the shine is back on Barcelona. I was actually, interestingly, I didn't tell you this actually today. I was corresponding with a boy, name dropping, Darren Smith, who actually sent me Ricardo wasn't sandbagging. He's like, no, it's just true. Like it happens. Like that's what was gonna happen. But in talking about that, Barcelona is back. I feel in a sense because
you can.
I like when big teams do well. You know this. Like I like it when big teams do well. But I mean,
it's a big change from the beginning of the season with Koeman.
Yeah.
Like I saw a TikTok of a guy saying we should fire Koeman again twice. He put us to a lot already, and Xavi was the right decision for Barcelona to bring him in. It looks like he's changed the environment in the locker room.
Yep.
He's changed Dembele, just playing lights out after being booed just a couple of games ago. This dude has 7 assists in 2022, which is the most in Europe's top 5 leagues so far. Dembele is just playing great. I hope he doesn't get injured. This is the Dembele that they paid for over 100 million euros. Essentially, this Dembele, man. Like, dude, what Aubameyang is just probably the best January signing. Like, this guy was not showing up to Arsenal trainings. This guy did not care about Arsenal anymore. He comes to Barcelona. When you see a player smiling like that during the game, you need to be scared. You need to worry. They're enjoying the game right now, and that's what Barcelona is. Yeah, it's not going to be tiki-taka anymore. Yeah, but Xavi ball is something else, and it's special.
Yeah, and I mean, if they do end up building into an eventual tiki-taka 2.0, like I could see that happening with this very versatile start type of play. But it's wild.
Like Xavi completely outcoached Ancelotti in this game. He didn't start Dani Alves. He started Araujo as a right back, who's very pacey to be that big of a center back. But he had the defense on lock, man. He had it locked down. And Araujo at his best is dangerous.
And another important factor for this January transfer window that Xavi got was Ferran Torres. Like, that's the first guy he went out and got. Like, he made sure he got that guy. And here you see, the finishing, what he's been able to do in his Barcelona career short.
With the assist of Aubameyang.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Aubameyang with beautiful,
by the way,
back heel tackle.
We're hyping up Barcelona a lot as well. You also got to point out the reason Madrid did not play well at all was Alaba just had probably the worst game of his career. Alaba was at fault for 3 of his 4 goals. Yeah, they didn't produce anything on top, so Barcelona would have won this game eventually. But Alaba, man, that first goal, the cross of Aubameyang, that cross, the header from that Aubameyang had, he raises his leg to try to block the cross. No, put your head in there. You start Nacho Fernandez as a left back when he's a natural center back, and then Alaba's a natural left back. Like, he's more pacey than Nacho. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what Ancelotti is doing, man.
No, that's the face of an assassin right there.
Yeah, dude, look at that. Like,
that's the face of somebody's.
Dude, the depth they have. You brought in subs. You brought in, what's his name? Depay, Adama Traore, Gavi, 17-year-old Gavi. Like, oh man, Barcelona. You guys went through the dark path that I predicted for.
But this team actually got through
very little time.
This team actually got through it.
My team is not getting through that, and I don't know. I've always liked Barcelona. I've always been a Barca fan. Like, I've always enjoyed the tiki-taka, the Ronaldinho stuff.
Remind me to do a quiz.
Oh, what time is your quiz?
Before midnight.
Oh, okay. I'll remind you.
Yeah.
That's the end of the show. Tony has to do a quiz. No, I'm sorry. But good for Barcelona fans. You guys got a taste of what misery is like for a bit. You guys still haven't won a Champions League in 7 years. Well, my team hasn't won one in almost 20. But it's a slide at the end of the tunnel for Barcelona. There's light ahead, and it's crazy. it's crazy what Real Madrid is, how they're going to rebuild if they get both Haaland and Mbappe. Could be a possibility. It's looking like this is the first Clásico I enjoy in a while.
Looking back to Champions League, right? Like, is La Liga stronger than the Premier League? You got Real Madrid, you got Atleti, you got Villarreal. I mean,
it's 3 clubs essentially.
3v3. They
like the argument is valid, right? Obviously, I feel like the Premier League itself is more entertaining to watch. It's just more competitive. But at the end of the day, you have the same 2 clubs fighting for the title, just like how it was at least for La Liga, right? Madrid, Barca, or Atletico Sevilla's in second right now, but Barcelona making a comeback for second. Real Madrid is winning the league very comfortably. They're up ahead by 9 points. So, and then you have the Premier League where it's a race between Liverpool and Man City, like by 1 point. So I think it's more competitive in itself. I think it's still a better league than La Liga, but the argument is valid, right? La Liga teams are there to compete in the Champions League and proving it with 3 teams in the quarterfinals.
Chappy, Madrid sucks. Aubameyang should have scored 4 goals. Auba is having a great time over in Barcelona.
He should have gotten the hat trick for sure.
No, definitely. But I like it. Like I said, when big clubs do well against each other, fantastic. But again, we'll see what ends up happening. This Europa League side of Barcelona beating Champions League favorite Real Madrid 4-0. I think Chelsea can do the same thing. I think they can. In any case,
yeah, I mean, Ricardo said Chivas suck too, and yes, they do.
Ow.
It was. We have to talk about it, right? It's a Clásico Tapatío. It's the second biggest game of the season for Chivas. So far, the last previous games, Chivas have managed to kind of overtake Atlas, but they were up 1-0 on a very. I think it should have been an own goal call instead of Alvarado scoring that. There was kind of a fight at the end of the first half. Ponce got a little heated with some players, and they both ended up getting a red card. Ponce along with Jairo Torres from Atlas. Vega got a yellow card. That's what was pushing. So, it was an altercation. There was a meme that said, Juega por la paz, and they tag, and it's Ponce, like, choking the player. Like, if anything, the Mexican league is probably the most hypocritical league. Like, you're over here praising, like, peace and safety, and then players do this. Right?
Yeah, players themselves are kicking each other's ass.
But it's part of the game, right? Like, arguments and heated moments are going to happen. But essentially, Chivas were playing great. Boquet didn't have the best game. He ended up getting subbed off. But at the end of the day, Tony, this kid is special. I can feel it.
Yeah, I mean, you keep saying that. And
I'm very hyped about this player. But at the end of the game, minute 90, Atlas ended up scoring and tying the game against Chivas. That's what happened in this game. The goal is very iffy, like, as you can see right there. Like, his shot looked like it might have been going out. So I don't know why they gave him the goal. He needed that goal, though, for confidence, but he hasn't been performing too well. Alvarado, the newest signing for Chivas, who essentially traded Antuna and Mayorga, 2 starters last season for this player. So not a big fan of that move, but it happened. It is what it is. Chivas currently in 10th place.
9 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, they added a lot.
What?
It's CONCACAF, bro. You called it.
Jesus Christ.
CONCACAF, man. And they scored in the 90th.
Of course they did.
They had added 4 minutes, and then they added an extra 4 or something like that happened.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. But other games in Liga MX, you had another Clásico Regio. So Clásico Tapatío, Clásico Regio. This is one of the, if you are not much into Liga MX and you're very, in the future, wanting to watch really important and great games, this is one of the biggest games of the season. Clásico Regio is 2 teams from Monterrey. It's Monterrey and Tigres. Tigres, as you know, you have to know Gignac at this point and the stacked team that they have. And essentially, those 2 players scored, Tony, in this game.
Really?
Gignac scored in the 69th minute, and then Thauvin scored in the 76th.
Los
franceses dominating the league. Tigres very much in good standing in second place underneath Pachuca. Pachuca they're looking like contenders for that title, man. They are looking like contenders. They ended up beating Cruz Azul 1-0 as well. But for this game, Gignac is something special. Obviously, he's been running the league for quite a bit already since he moved here. I believe he's the all-time leading scorer for Tigres already.
That's wild.
To be fair, Tigres history much? Not really, right? They're a fairly new team to the LigaMX as a dominant force. Mm-hmm. But they're taking over quickly.
Yeah, no, they're taking advantage of it. Thank you, Ferretti, Tuca Ferretti for that.
Well, with that budget they have, it's crazy. They just buy everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, they went abroad. So, I mean, that's always something that, like, they always go South American. They always go for the Argentinian. They always go for somebody else.
And that's the thing. Chivas can't do that. And
that's the state of Mexico.
I don't know where you stand in this, but I think it has come to a point, and it would piss a lot of Chivas fans off, but for them to be able to sign international players.
Nope.
At least nacionalizados.
No.
Then it's never going to change for Chivas. That's the bad thing.
Sorry.
It's the bad thing.
You have the talent. You have the talent, but Mexico has the talent. Mexico has the talent, but they just don't.
It's hard to compete against when you're buying players for cheaper and then they raise the prices on those. Like, Mexican talent is expensive.
Yeah.
That's why European teams don't buy them.
English talent is expensive.
Yeah, but you're telling me, like, Ross Barkley wouldn't dominate the LigaMX? And you can sign him probably for, like, under 10 million euros. And then they're over here offering, like, Alexis Vega's probably, like,
20.
Value, like, 15.
Yeah.
A team would rather go for Ross Barkley.
I guess.
So, I think Chivas are at disadvantage there, but Gignac scored in 9 straight. Yeah, no, Gignac's a monster, dude. Like, just completely took over the... he fell in love with Mexico. That's what's great. It doesn't bother me because he fell in love with Mexican culture. Mm-hmm. Like, his kids are born Mexicans now. Like, this guy moved to Mexico and made his whole life here, and he loves it.
Yeah, he's a pseudo-Mexican now.
How great would it have been that he just nationalized Mexican and hadn't played for France, and then he's the striker for Mexico?
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love that.
That would be great.
I would love that.
But yeah, man, you got to take a quiz.
You're
drunk already.
No, what? But no, thank you guys for joining here on Two Balls at a Mic. It's a long one today. As soon as baseball starts, we're definitely going to catch on some baseball talk because it's necessary. I need it in my life. Check out the interview coming up with Jimmy Conrad. That's going to be dropping on Wednesday, the day before the match against the U.S. Check us out at O'Brien's. We're going to be there. Talk all the shit. Buy us a water. Buy us a beer. Whatever. It's fine. Check out, once again, PB European Imports. Calafino Tequila, 2%. 20% off. 2 balls, 20. And...
Vamos, México, cabrones.
Later, guys.